What's up, guys? Welcome to another episode of Brand Builder TV, where we want to share with you how to brand and market in 2020 versus 2004. There's a big, big difference. Listen, get your pen and paper ready, because this guy is going to bring the heat, and he's going to bring the heat with real world wisdom. He's been there, he's done it, and he's consistently doing it. Let me give you a little overview of who he is and what he has going on. Now, I'm actually going to read this right for his Instagram. If you want to learn how to blow up on Instagram, follow this man, Brad Lea. Founder, LightSpeed VT, Dropping Bombs, his podcast, which I was privileged to be on, and the Closer School, which he just launched, I believe, about a year ago. And Brad, I'd love to have you give us that 30,000 foot view, of what all the things that you have going on, and we're going to tie that in with the real world branding. Our audience really is really me, right? High-end commission and small to medium-sized business owners. So higher-end commission sales, real estate, mortgage, high-end auto, boat, yachts, multiple 6- and 7-figure business owners, because that's been my world for the last 20 plus years. So that's really who we speak to. And I honestly, man, I can't think of a better guest to have on, because this has really been your world from everything that I've been able to witness from afar. So love to share with us, first of all, LightSpeed and what it's all about.
Well, thanks, Dave. LightSpeed is a web-based interactive training technology. It was created to develop people, employees. I originally created it for myself, and then found out it worked so well that I started showing it to other subject matter experts, and quickly made an adjustment and just started servicing, experts, training organizations. Then it led into associations and businesses and franchises. And now, obviously, especially in the last 5 years, training and development, especially online, is growing very rapidly. We realize that there's a better way to do it, more effective, cost effective, et cetera. So I was just kind of in need of a solution. So I built it, and it turned out to be something everyone needed. That's LightSpeed. So ultimately what I do, Dave, is I'm more of I have a website, bradlea.com. People keep texting me and laughing at it because it says the world's dreamiest business magnate or tycoon or something like that. Because I don't care if to a point, it's like, look, I'm a funny guy. I don't take things too seriously. And I want that brand, because we're talking about branding, I want that brand to be authentic. So if you meet me in person, there's not a disconnect. A lot of times people will do that. So right now, I mean, when people say, who is Brad Lea? I'm the founder and CEO mainly of LightSpeed. I'm a current active CEO of an 8-figure business, almost 9 figures. I've got 80 some employees, 30,000 square feet. Like, it's a real brick and mortar business. But what's funny is it's in the cloud. So it's a brick and mortar web-based business. Anyway, long story short, that's who I am. So I'm a sales and closing expert, a life and business coach and mentor kind of thing, and the founder of a tech company. That's ultimately what I do and who I am.
And
father of 6.
To give a little more edification as well, and I'm going down this road because I actually know it. Share some names, man, that have leveraged your platforms. Share some real world names, man, that have actually moved to another level. Because look, at the end of the day, I explain LightSpeed as this, and as somebody looking from afar, and I've been to your office, it's the ultimate leverage. And if you're not looking for leverage in business, you're going to lose, right? That's the ultimate. That leverage is everything. So yeah, share with our audience some of the people that actually leverage your platforms and have leveraged.
Well, you mean name drop a little bit. Name drop a little bit.
Yeah, because you've earned it.
Well, I mean, I've got General Motors, World Series of Poker. I've got Gold's Gym, the PGA. I have names that you've heard of your whole life, and I have names you've never heard of. As far as experts go, Zig Ziglar, John Maxwell, some of the biggest names in leadership and whatnot. I've got Tony Robbins, Zig Ziglar, Tom Hopkins, John Maxwell, Grant Cardone, Damon John. Let me just think through my head, because again, there's just so many of them. I hate to name them, because then some will probably be offended that I didn't name them. But at the end of the day, there's all kinds of them. People you've heard of, people you've never heard of. Ultimately, my clients are the people who care about training and developing someone, whether it be, hey, pay me and I'll train you how to sell, or, hey, I need to train my employees how to work in my factory, whatever. LightSpeed VT is the world's first and only actual learning system. It's not an LMS, learning management system. It's a actual learning system. So, man, the big names go on and on. I can't even name them all. Big brothers, big sisters. Let's see, who else? 9 Round. The colleges, schools, businesses, franchises, all of them, associations.
I mean, that's, to me, that's edification, and that is a proving track record. And at the end of the day, that's what I think the internet as a whole is missing. I think you need to figure out who is actually has done it, is doing it now, and is continuing to do it at a huge scale. Second, go ahead.
Well, I mean, the fact that I have big names doesn't really make me anything special. I think the revenue I've been able to prove out is more of a testament. It doesn't matter if you have big clients or small clients, as long as your revenues, like you said, 6 to 7 figures, we got to get those to 7 to 8 figures. You got to get those to 9 figures. Like, you want to be somebody today, man, you got to be busting into the 8s for sure. Like 7 figures, anyone can be a millionaire nowadays. If you're a single digit millionaire, as my boy Coach Burt likes to call it, if you're a single digit millionaire, that's impressive. That's cool. You should be proud of yourself, but it's a start. Like, if you got to 7 figures, you can get to 8, 9, and 10. The question is how and how long is it going to take you, and whether or not, apparently in this particular instance, is branding going to lend towards the successful, objectives. Yes. Dude, you got to have a brand. You got to build a brand, not only a business, but a personal. You know the difference, right?
Well, let's give me your definition, and let's really dive into that, because I believe that that's the ultimate difference between 2004. And I'm just using that year, 2004 versus 2020. Yeah. I want to hear your definition. Absolutely.
Well, I'll give you an example. Let's take you. Well, I don't even know what you do, but I know you. Mm-hmm. Dave Daly, right? Mm-hmm. So I know you go around, you interview people. If someone said, what does Dave do? I don't know really. I think he's like a podcaster, or like, I don't know what he does. So I know you, that's personal branding. Mm-hmm. But if you know my company, like, who's Richard Branson's company? Virgin. Mm-hmm. Who's Bill Gates's company? Microsoft. That's also branding. So there's a personal brand, and then there's a business brand. I think you've done a great job building the personal brand, but I don't necessarily know what your business is. So you got to be careful to build both, right? I kind of ignored LightSpeed for a long time. Why? Because I kept believing, and I still believe, people don't follow companies. They follow people. So I focused on my personal brand, and that's kind of what's growing at a rapid rate. And that's kind of what's, taken over. But don't forget your business brand, folks. Don't forget your business brand.
And I think that's an awesome point, because I'm actually dialing in 2020, what I actually do, what I provide, and my value. So that's such a great point that I had to step back and say, you know what do I do, right? Where is my superpower? What is my strength? And I look back at my experience being an entrepreneur for the last 20 plus years. I had to get a lot of clarity in especially the last 6 months, man. So I'm really glad that you went there, and that shows people that you have to have that clarity on both ends. It's so important. But look, I believe your personal brand becomes so important in today's world. And I encourage everyone to follow you on Instagram, man. I think you're killing it on the stories. I do. And also the post that you make. Share with us how you produce your Instagram, not your stories. Obviously, we all know how to do that. But how do you produce your on your feed?
Well, ultimately, what I did that made the biggest impact is I quit focusing on trying to create content, and I started just to document. Our boy Gary Vee told the secret a couple of years ago. I remember watching him, and he said, "Don't try to create, just document," which I didn't really understand what he meant then. But when I started to look back, like, well, what did I do different? Well, shit, I kind of started documenting. In other words, I hire a guy to follow me around from 8 to 5 with a camera. If he was here today, I gave everyone 2 weeks off for Christmas. But if he was here today, he'd be filming this on the other side of my computer screen. Why? Well, because he films everything I say and do all day long. And then I upload it to a link. I have a team in Seattle, a remote team in Seattle that goes through the content of the day, grabs little nuggets and bits they found helpful. Because again, it doesn't matter what I think's helpful. It doesn't matter what you think's helpful. What does your audience think's helpful? And so they go in and figure out what they think would be helpful, and they drop it. They add a title and drop it. So I don't do the actual editing, and people always ask me, what software are you using for that? I don't do that shit. Like, listen, I be me, and I document it on camera and good audio, and then I upload it, and then a team looks through the footage and grabs the nuggets. Now, to me, that's 1000% how you build a personal brand. Is you become authentic and transparent, and you better hope you're a good dude with a good word. Because if you're a piece of shit and you pull this move, well, guess what? Everyone's going to see you're a piece of shit. So if I were you, before you run out there and build a personal brand that's fake, I'd do a personal assessment of myself and figure out, who am I and what do I stand for and what do I believe? Because here's what's going to happen, Dave. You're going to stick your beliefs out there, and everyone in the world, it seems like anyway, is going to call you an idiot. They're going to say you're a freaking racist. They're going to say you're an idiot. Back, from top to bottom, everything about you're not going to like, and you're going to go, holy shit, and you're going to stop. That's what most people do. They're so afraid of what other people think that they will not put out anything that might even ruffle a feather. Well, now you're vanilla. Now you're just noise. Now you're just like all the other idiots out there that are afraid of what other people think. They're afraid of judgment. So again, there's a lot to it from a psychological standpoint. I don't give a fuck. Excuse my language. I don't really care. Now, some people say, well, why'd you just correct your language if you don't give a fuck? Well, because I'm not trying to offend people, Dave. In other words, I don't care what your opinion is of me. Why? Because your opinion is none of my business, first of all. Second of all, dude, you don't even know me. Okay, I get up every morning. What do I think like? What do I do? Do I bring my kids to school? Do I spend them enough time? Do I help them with their homework? Do I get them dressed? Am I looking to help people throughout the day? Who am I? You watch my social media. That doesn't mean you know who I am. So at the end of the day, if someone says, oh, you think you're so cool, or make some negative comment, I don't even pay attention to it. In fact, I started calling it out. It's funny. I call it hater shine. But at the end of the day, most people can't do that, Dave. So if someone's sitting here thinking, how do I build a brand? First of all, go look at yourself, make sure you like what you see, because you're about to expose it to the world. And if you're afraid to expose it to the world, you're not going to build really a very good brand. Personally, that's my opinion, because you have to be willing to get the hate to find the love. In other words, you got to go through the hate to find the love. And most people will not go through the hate.
I love that. One of the things that when I speak from stage is my book, as you can see behind me, is called Fearless is Bullshit, right? We're built and taught that, if you're not fearless, you're going to lose. And I always believe that facing that fear, getting through the other side, becoming courageous is really what you're looking to do, to me. And my life hack for people that are terrified of being judged, here's what I tell them. I hear it every day of my life, right? You're so much nicer than we thought because of my appearance. And here's what I say. Here's the life hack for that. Your only job is to make them accurate. That's all. We're human beings. I'm going to judge. That's a human being. I'm going to get judged. Your only job is to make them accurate. And I think that's what you're saying overall when it comes to your personal brand. Just make them accurate. Let the chips fall where they may. I always say, let the universe do the heavy lifting.
Makes sense. Yeah. Well, again, good way to put it. But at the end of the day, absolutely. And by the way, fearless is bullshit.
It's right, 100%. But we're conditioned to think that we're broke if we feel that fear, and that's what got my interest in writing that book is because what you just said, Brad, I believe, and I know just the way you put it, you back me on this. That's like the biggest sticking point for people. Oh shit, what are they going to think? Oh shit, what are they going to say? Oh shit, am I going to lose followers? Am I going to lose clients? No, you're actually going to attract the right ones.
Well, that's the thing. Most people are so afraid of the hate, they can't find the love. Again, I mean, believe it or not, I'm impressed with my posts and the amount of hate that I get. Like I literally, I'm calling my team going, shouldn't I be getting more hate? Like this doesn't seem right. Like everybody seems to be resonating with what I'm posting. There's comments going on. Oh, you're the greatest. You're the greatest. And I'm like, well, let me take a deep look. And there's the hate. So now that I see that the hate, well, there's probably more than I was noticing before, but my mind got to a point where I don't even recognize it. Like I don't care what you think about me personally. Why? Well, because I like me, bro. I don't need your validation. I don't need your cosign or your co-signature, whatever you call it. I don't need your endorsement. And a lot of times, again, people will hear this and they'll think, well, fuck, that's arrogant. It's not arrogant, friends. It's called confidence. There's a difference between arrogant and confidence. I'm confident that I'm a good person and I don't need you to, second that. So if I say something on social media that you don't like, I understand everybody's not the same. This is what I like. So if you got the balls, because to me, it doesn't take balls. It's just you have to take some mindset takes a perspective of, hey, who cares what other people think? I don't care. Let's have fun with this. Because again, sometimes I'm online, my chest looks like, holy shit, dude, work out. Sometimes I'll look and I'll be like, why'd you take that photo right there? Like that's the worst photo I've ever seen of myself. And then I catch myself worrying. Now, there is a part where folks see this is where the real comes in. Most people will just leave it at what I just said. When in reality, yeah, dude, you want to be conscious a little bit of your brand, meaning I'm not going to sit here with messed up hair and frickin', in other words, you do want to pay attention to your brand, even if you don't give a fuck. Does that make sense? Use common sense, like brush your fucking teeth, dress nice, protect your brand, do what you say, have ethics, all of the other things aside. Pay attention to what people are judging. Also, to your point, make them right. Yeah. So I say don't care, which is technically truth. In other words, if I had to pick one, go over the top, don't give a shit. Or tend to your brand based on what you think you want people to see. I'd lean more towards authenticity. Why? Well, because Dave, you're trying to find a tribe of people that really love you, and if it's not really you, it's going to be temporary.
100%, and that's why we're built as human beings. We feel that energy when you walk. And I tell people, if you walk into a car dealership and there's three salespeople that come up to you, two of them right off the bat, your intuition says, "Man, I'm not jiving." The other one, you feel like you've known them forever. Why? Because you're tuning in to who you actually are, what resonates with you, what clicks with you. I think it goes back to understanding, like you mentioned earlier, understanding who you are first, right? What makes you actually tick? Because it goes back to letting the universe do all the heavy lifting, and I believe that's the epicenter. So Brad, give us real estate, mortgage, high-end commission sales, small to medium-sized business owners. Give us two things they need to do 2020 to start to expand, grow, and scale.
Shake more hands. More hands you shake, more money you make, period.
I love that. I've heard you millions of times say that. Love that. Shake more hands.
Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, you should intentionally try to meet 10 new people a day. By the way, and if you're a professional, you should work on your introductions. You should work on, your ability to introduce yourself, the stories you tell, the interest you fake. Whatever it is you need to do, I'd be rehearsed at it, and I'd do it intentionally. More hands you shake, more money you make, period. If you meet 10 new people every single day in 2020, I'll bet you have the best year of your entire life.
1,000%. Want your take on this before we jump off? I believe the game changer in 2020, whatever industry you're in, because you can find the audience now and repurpose it in so many ways, is exactly what we're doing, right? Podcasting, either your own or other people's in your niche. Now we're talking the practical, right? The way to repurpose, get in front of the right audience instantly. I believe that if you're a realtor in the commercial world, in a deep enough niche, you could be on 2 to 3 podcasts a week and have so much content and repurpose and get in front of the right audience. So
can I give you my 2 cents on the real estate
absolutely.
world?
Yeah.
Do you have a big real estate listenership?
It's starting to grow. Yeah.
Well, I'd say, man, you guys better watch out and be real worried, if you ask me. Like a realtor, listen, if I were in real estate as a realtor, I'd be focusing big on a personal brand, because right now when I think of buying a house, I think of Zillow, not an individual. Okay? Before, when I used to want to buy a house and there was no Zillow, I would think Century 21 or Remax. And then guess what? I'd call and they'd direct me to my local agent and I'd find your asses. I'm not doing that anymore, folks. I'm going to Zillow. I'm going to apps. I'm going to places that want to buy my house. I don't need a realtor to show me how much a house is worth or what the one sold for next to me anymore. I don't need a realtor anymore. Your commissions for basically just doing, the legwork before made sense because I needed you and we're stuck. But now what is it, 6%?
Yeah.
6% to sell a house? Shit, dude, that's quite a bit. What the hell are you doing? My house is $4 million. What do you want 6% of that for?
Moving paper, right?
Yeah, but you see my point? Like, dude, if I were a realtor, I'd be scared. You know why I'd be scared? Because there's some disruption coming. Now, you can either get out of it or you can get with it. But at the end of the day, man, if I were a realtor, I'd pay attention real close to my personal brand. Why? Well, because, dude, the more hands you shake, the more money you make, the more people that know you are a resource and an expert, you're better than Zillow. Okay. You know who's what, you know what's shaking, you know what's in the area, you know what's cool, what's coming in the, in the area. Like, shit, dude, there's 215 is going to come around here and drop a fucking off ramp right here. And you're going to be, really, really knowledgeable. And then something's unique, man. Like maybe if I buy a house from you, you get me all new furniture. Maybe if I buy a house from you, you send over your designer to literally not necessarily buy my shit, but tell me the right shit to buy so my badass new house looks as badass as possible. You got to do something everybody else isn't doing. So again, remember when I said in the beginning, you just want my 2 cents? This is just my 2 cents when I'm looking at the real estate. Like, I'm thinking, shit, if I'm a realtor, dude, I better build a personal brand real quick.
1,000%. And let's drive that home even deeper. The success leaves a trail, right? What you just said is so if you are a successful realtor right now, take part of that marketing budget and hire somebody that's going to follow you around, right? Like you said, like you're doing, like Gary Vee's doing. Follow you around, show what's going on, show your negotiations in a deal, show that family that never thought they could get that first house, or that investor who never thought he'd get that 15th investment property, whatever that is in today's world, on top of leveraging podcasts to talk to your audience. I agree with you 1,000%, man. And I know you got a lot going on. I want to thank you really honestly, Brad, for taking the time, jumping on here and sharing that real world wisdom, man. And I was excited because not only did I follow you, but we connected back in 2017 at your location. So I got to see a little bit behind that black curtain that a lot of people don't get to see on Instagram, on LinkedIn. He's the real deal, man. And it just is what it is.
Well, I appreciate you, bro.
Yeah, right back at you, man. And anything I could do, feel free to reach out, man.
Hey, next time you're in Vegas, man, stop by. I'll put you on Dropping Bombs.
Let's do it, man. I was just out there for the UFC fight.
Who won?
Who was the main event? Three title fights.
Yeah, must have been a memorable experience.
The Lioness, she won. It was kind of a sleeper. Who was the? I can't even think of the main event.
See, put you on the spot. See that? And by the way, dude, listen. Here's another tip for 2020: preparation.
Mm.
You know, you obviously, you know, if you ask me who won the last freaking Super Bowl, I'd be like doing the same thing. So I'm not talking about know who won fights, but because I always like to bust people's balls, and it reminds me of things. The main thing people don't do when they approach sales conversations, closing opportunities, you know, they want to scale their business, grow their business. They miss the basics. And dude, the first step in getting anything done correctly and quickly is preparation. Don't ever forget. And when people are like, what does that mean? Okay, like when you wake up, are you mentally prepared? Let's say you arrive at work. Let's say your first customer is approaching you. Are you prepared? Are you mentally prepared? Do you know what's in inventory? Are you aware of the current market trends? Are you aware of the current interest rates? Like, are you prepared mentally, physically, visually, spiritually? Like, are you prepared? Get prepared, my friends.
Love it. And Alessandro broke Cody's jaw. That was the that was the last fight of the night. Awesome. Electric, man. It was electric.
Next time you're here, man, let me know. Give me a heads up so I can schedule a Drop Bombs. I'd love to have you on my podcast.
Let's do it, brother. Thank you so much, man. Happy New Year, brother.
My pleasure. Peace. See you later, Dave.
See you, brother.